Well, let's start with a big breaking update coming in from West Asia after threatening to hit Iran very hard and even warning of a takeover of Iran's key oil infra. US President Donald Trump has now made a dramatic U-turn. He has said that bombing has been called off after a major diplomatic breakthrough between the two countries. According to Donald Trump, discussions with Iran have reached the highest level of the leadership, and the final points of a possible agreement between the two countries, they also have been approved. He told reporters in the Oval Office that a deal is in final shape and could be signed as early as this weekend. And also the date, location and the venue of the deal signing will also be announced very soon, is what he has said on social media. But till that happens, he has said that US naval blockade of the Iranian ports, that will also continue. So after threatening to hit Iran very hard last evening, in fact, in even warning of taking over the key oil infra there, that is the Kurg Island, US President Donald Trump has now made a dramatic U-turn. In fact, he has said that the bombing has been called off after a major diplomatic breakthrough. He said that a deal could be announced very soon as this weekend, and the location and the venue of the deal signing will be announced very soon by him on social media, and also going on to say that till that happens, the naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, that will continue. Let me get you more perspective and go across to my colleague Mayank, who's been tracking all the details. Good morning, Mayank. This is not the first time that Trump has threatened to bomb Iran. Earlier this year, remember, he had said that he would be bombing the power plants, Kurg Island as well, but he did not. And now once again, a big U-turn that he has taken. How significant is this, and what really changed in the last 24 hours leading to this very moment?
Good morning, Akansha, and good morning to the viewers. See, I was going through the terms and terminologies which have been used while understanding whatever the US President has said. In that, he has used multiple terms which are indicating towards probability. But then, having said that, these are very significant things. If things boil down to a level wherein both Iran and the US have come to a middle point, that is, which means they'll be agreeing to multiple things which are creating problems or complicating things for the world, and at least for the Middle East, then it is going to be really good. But then going by the past trend and the terminologies, which the terms like probability, like it will be probably signed this weekend and something like that. I mean, there are multiple sentences in which probability has been used as a indication. So going by that, let's wait till the time this memorandum of understanding, as he has termed it while describing this, is finally inked on papers. But until that time, as he has already said, that blockade will continue. If we get a reminder of whatever Iran has been saying, that they said that removal of blockade should be the first condition in that case.
Right.
And agreement, when President Donald Trump is talking about agreement, is that Iran is going to give up all its rights to enrich nuclear fissile material. That is one of the conditions. And second point, Strait of Hormuz will be opened. So let us wait and watch, Akansha, because probability terms have been used in the whatever he has said. But then it is going to be a big news if it is finally done on paper, Akansha.
Absolutely, and let's wait and watch what Iran has to say on this. But this is not the first time that Donald Trump has taken a U-turn. Just a few hours back, he said that he would be bombing Iran very hard, and now he's taken a U-turn, saying that he will not be launching any attacks today. Stay on with us, Mayank. I'll come back to you once again. Let's listen into what Trump said.
I mean, the straits are going to open immediately. This is fun signing. Maybe it'll be Saturday or Monday.
Where's their deadline, though, to get from this to a final deal?
We think it's going to go pretty quickly. I don't want to say a deadline, because if I say a deadline, you'll say, oh, he didn't meet the deadline. You know, this is like, it's not going to matter much, because it's going to get signed. And the strait is open. But the straits have been open for a number of months already, and you just didn't know about it. You know, you as reporters weren't able to get it. They just announced yesterday that we brought a lot of ships through. Nobody knew about it. I guess we did a pretty good job, Peter, right? But we brought many ships across, and millions, hundreds of millions of barrels of oil.
All right, so after threatening to hit Iran very hard and even warning of a takeover of the Kurg island there, US President Donald Trump has now made a dramatic U-turn. Coming back to you, Mayank, on this, has any reaction come in from Iran's side? Because Iranian media is saying that their sources are indicating that no such agreement has been made between US and Iran so far, and they've rejected this claim that has been made by Donald Trump.
Akansha, we'll have to understand the trend which had been taking place right from 28th of April or 28th of Feb when the operation was launched on Iran. And for that, I'll remind our viewers certain things. But before that, I have to say that Iran saying this, that they haven't, they are not going to agree to it or there's nothing like that, then we'll have to understand in the beginning of the March when it was like some kind of a delegation or some kind of a meeting was taking place between Iran and the US, it was absolutely denied actually, completely denied. When then April meeting was taking place, which was 8th of April when the ceasefire was finally declared, before that also Iran was saying that there's nothing like that and there was no talk going on. On 11th of April in Pakistan, there was a meeting. That was an indirect meeting that I can agree to. But then there was a meeting. Before that, Iran had said that they won't be sending any kind of a representative from their country, and 70-member delegation was sent there. After that, there were multiple meetings taking place between Pakistan and Iran. Why Pakistan and Iran? Because Pakistan was acting as an imagery. It was carrying the messages from the US side for Iran. Why am I repeating this trend for our viewers is actually to make them understand that Iran doesn't come out with such kind of a declaration unless something finally is done on paper. So we'll have to wait and watch. Even if Iran is saying that there's nothing like that, I believe, and we already know that there are lots of talks taking place between Iran, Pakistan, US and back forth. I mean, this is how back and forth things are moving. So Akansha, I would like to understand that there must be something really happening there, but then unless it is boils down on the paper, we'll have to wait and watch, Akansha.
Because multiple times Donald Trump has mentioned that Iran and US, they are on the verge of a breakthrough, but we have seen that that has not come true, so it remains to be seen whether it does this time around. Thanks so much, Mayank, for getting us all those details. We have another breaking update coming in, another statement that is coming from Donald Trump. He has said that Iran has agreed to major limits on the nuclear program during the ongoing talks between the two countries. He has claimed that Iran has assured US that it will not build, buy or possess nuclear weapons in the future. According to him, Iran has accepted key demands that it must never develop a nuclear bomb under any circumstance. And he also described this as an important step towards a wider agreement aimed at reducing the tensions in that region. In fact, that's the latest we're learning as far as this recent statement by Donald Trump is concerned. He has said that a proposed deal would include the strict restriction on the nuclear program as well. Listen into what he said.
Of the war with Iran, and we're going to be subject to finalization of documents, which should get done over the next few days. Probably have a signing maybe in Europe, and it's a great thing. Stock market's up 1,000 points. That means they like the deal. See, that means they like, the market goes down. That means they don't like the deal. But it's been up. Oil's dropped. Oil will start coming down to, I think, even lower than it was before. I said I was in Iowa. It was $1.85 a gallon. And I don't know if I'm going to get there, but we're going to get pretty close. It's going to come down, and when oil comes down, everything else comes down. And most importantly, we have a deal that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, which was the whole purpose of what we had to go through to get this. So it was a big, very big thing. But we have a signing soon, and the documents are in pretty final shape. So we'll see. We'll see. Very good. Should be done, and that should be done pretty quickly. They want it every bit as much as everybody else wants it. And I think
And with that, another breaking update coming in. And now Iran is challenging US President Donald Trump's claim that a nuclear agreement has been finalized between the two countries. Iranian media has said that no draft agreement with the United States has been approved so far. And sources in Tehran have rejected Trump's claim that Iran has accepted a final text and agreed to key US demands as well. Remember, this comes after Trump said that he has called off the planned military strikes against Iran because of what he described as a major diplomatic breakthrough. Trump claimed that Iran had agreed to strict limits on the nuclear program and accepted the U.S. condition that it would never acquire the nuclear weapon. And now we're learning that Iran is challenging U.S. President Donald Trump's claim that a nuclear agreement has been finalized between the two countries. Let me once again bring in my colleague Mayank on this. Mayank, a denial has come in from Iran as expected. They have challenged U.S. President Donald Trump's claim that a nuclear agreement has been finalized between the two countries. Now, as far as nuclear agreement is concerned, that remains a key friction point between the two countries other than what is happening there in the Strait of Hormuz. How significant is the statement that is coming from Donald Trump? Because, again, this is not the first time that he has spoken about this.
Akanksha, it's a big thing actually. For Iran, it's like something like existence and giving up their rights to enrich uranium to the military gate actually. I mean, for peaceful purposes, everyone has a right to actually enrich uranium because it is used for medical purposes and multiple other purposes also, energy purposes. So in this case, it is specifically talking about enrichment of uranium to the military grade. If it happens, that means Iran is going to give up its all rights to ever acquire any kind of a weapon. But I need to bring out a character in this case like A.Q. Khan, Abdul Qadir Khan from Pakistan. He was blamed, and even Pakistan accepted it in one way or the other, for proliferation of all kind of nuclear technology, nuclear secrets and nuclear scientific mechanisms by which bombs can be assembled. And that time it was said that to multiple nations that secret had gone to. So do we realize that technological changes have taken place, and here in Iran is agreeing that they'll give up all its rights. The other point what you brought out is actually right from the beginning, a nuclear issue has been the bane of every disagreement. And on 11th of April, J.D. Vance, while he was leaving Pakistan, he had brought it out for the first time that the talks could not take place or go ahead only because the issues, no agreement taking place on nuclear issues. So what you see is actually the biggest sticking point of entire whatever is happening right now. And using term existential threat by the Israel had launched this operation right in the beginning. So it would be Israel would be wanting that nothing which comes out as existential threat for them should be existing. So let us wait and watch how much Iran is going to at least give up in this case. Akanksha.
At this point in time, they have denied what Donald Trump has said when it comes to nuclear agreement between the two countries. Stay on with us. We have another statement coming in, and this time from the Israeli Prime Minister, because following US President Donald Trump's decision to pause the planned strikes on Iran today and pursue talks instead, Israel has now issued a major statement on the diplomatic move. According to the Israeli Prime Minister's office, Trump held a phone conversation with the Israeli Prime Minister regarding the emerging MOU aimed at opening negotiations with Iran. While Israel is not directly involved in the proposed agreement, we are learning that Israeli Prime Minister expressed support for the U.S. effort to engage with Iran diplomatically. He also said that any final deal must also address the key demands and the key security concerns of Israel. Let me once again bring in my colleague Mayank on this. Mayank, Israeli Prime Minister said that when it comes to the final deal between U.S. and Iran, though they're not fully involved in that, it must also address the key security concerns of their country. Give us more details about their concern. What are the friction points? What are their demands?
Akanksha, military, it gives a name to its operation. And in this case, the operation which was being conducted by Israel, although it is a joint operation between US and Israel, but Israel called its operation as Roaring Lion. And Epic Fury was the name given by the US for its military operation. In this case, the objective for Israel was specific, saying that they were launching this operation because of certain existential threats. That was specifically that Iran was, as they were finding, or they had come to a conclusion that Iran was on the verge of acquiring nuclear weapon. A nuclear weapon is a complex system actually, and enriching uranium, or rather, it's a fuel which is used in a bomb. So they were on the verge of acquiring a bomb. That was the probability which was declared, and because of which they said that it is a sort of existential threat for Israel. Thus, this should not be happening, and they joined together to launch this operation.
Absolutely.
If it happens.
US President Donald Trump just a while back spoke to the Israeli Prime Minister, and he has assured him that any agreement reached at the end of the talks with Iran would include the removal of the enriched material, the nuke bombs there, the dismantling of the enrichment infra, limits on the missile production as well, and end to Iran's support for the proxy groups there operating in the region. Stay on with us. I'll come back to you once again. We have another breaking update coming in as oil prices have fallen after US President Donald Trump said that he's calling off the planned strikes on Iran and moving towards talk instead. Brent crude has dropped to about $89 per barrel. Prices went down because investors are now less worried about the war in the West Asia region. Remember, earlier there were fears that conflict with Iran could disrupt the oil supply and push prices even higher. But after this decision that has been made by Donald Trump that he will not be attacking Iran, at least for today, those fears have now eased for now. Let me once again go back to my colleague Mayank. On this, Mayank, we're learning that the oil prices have fallen below $90 per barrel. And this is quite important because and this has come after the statement that has been made by Donald Trump that he will not be attacking Iran, at least for now.
Absolutely, Akansha. The significant point here is actually fuel and energy have created a major effect, a negative effect across the globe. And in this case, Asia, I mean, I'll talk of Asia and then we can talk specifically about India also, because Asia has been the manufacturing hub of the world in this case. And a larger portion of their fuel and energy has been coming from this Strait of Hormuz. And because of the war and because of the blockade, nothing was moving out and entering into the Strait of Hormuz. Japan, Korea, China and India had been the biggest suppliers or manufacturers for the world. Cost of living has gone up, fuel prices have gone up, which has got its own reeling effect. So once you see the probability that the fuel and energy might start, the flow of it will begin, it has created this kind of a positive effect on the prices of Brent and crude oil in this case. So but still I maintain, and because of the trend which we have followed, we have to understand that unless it is from both sides, which is Iran and the US, the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed practically actually.
Absolutely. And now investors are watching the situation very closely to see if the talks between US and Iran move forward or if the tensions rise again, something that we have seen in the last 2 days as well. Thanks so much, Mayank, for getting us all those details and putting that into perspective.